So, in the past, I have made many games in 48 hours, 24 hours, even 12 hours. However, I was actually sat down with a mate the other day and he gave me this idea for a game where it's just a clicker that you have to press a button to play, except it's a bit like Stanley Parable where you've got to press the button and he talks to you and you can press it again, not going to do anything. Other buttons show up, you got to fix the button, things like that. And he was asking me how much time would I actually need to make this game? And that got me thinking because it was like, well, I've made these games in the past where it's only taken me like 12 hours or so. However, was I truly proud of this project? And thinking back on it, no, they were completely buggy and ruined and just not fun to play. And personally, some of them weren't even fun to make. So, in this challenge, I wanted to give myself 6 hours to see if I could make a game like the Stanley Parable press a button game. However, it had to here like there was rules to this. It has to be fun to play for people who want to play it. I have to enjoy making it, and it's got to look good. That's it. Those are the only rules. So, without further ado, let's get straight into the challenge and see just how I made this. So, first things first, I decided to start working on some of the arcs. We already had the idea for the game at this point, and which was given to us by my mate. So I didn't actually have to do any of the thinking stage in this challenge. I literally just had to get going, creating literally everything I needed for the entire challenge. So I made the main menu, or I guess what is going to be the quote unquote main game screen. And then I made a couple of buttons, like just nice little funny things around. Did some different iterations of the actual button that we're going to have itself, and then also made some little just helpful things that I think might be helpful when we're actually making the game in this challenge. But anyway, the next thing I need to do is quickly put all of this into Unity, all the different layers with the clouds and the grass, the press to play, and then also the blue background itself, which you can see on the mock-up design here. And once that's done, we can actually start working on the main game. This didn't really take much time at all. For those who are actually interested in how much time I spent on this, I think I spent only like half an hour of my time. So we only have 5.5 hours, which doesn't sound like a lot of time for all the code and game design stuff. However, realistically, I'm not too worried about how long this is going to take. And just like that, everything's in. It's looking really good, and I just spent some time making sure everything is sized correctly, because obviously they are individual parts, like this is the clouds are separate, which does allow me to do things like this. I made some animations as well. It didn't take much time at all. This was like a 5 minute job. Animations are really easy for me to make, so it just pops in, it gives it some life. I'll maybe make some sound effects along with it later, just to give it a little bit more, jazz to it. I think the next thing we're going to work on is getting some voice lines done so that we can actually, hear something when we open the game rather than it just being a silent screen that pops up. And then after that, we'll start working on the code behind the button. Wow, you actually opened the game? Damn. I'm kind of shocked. I wasn't expecting anyone to click on this game. Well, the game's in the name. Click that button and let's get playing. So after spending some time recording those clips, which was probably the most enjoyable part of the entire challenge, I really enjoyed just being able to sit there and just say whatever I liked and actually have it be a part of the entire game as a whole. I found it really enjoyable, and it was just one of those things that you don't actually get to do in all your games, because most of my games are silent games where you just have text pop-ups and music and all this sort of stuff. So having my voice actually acting in the game was quite a new experience for me. But anyway, moving past that, the next thing we had to work on was the buttons. How was I going to do that? Now, I had a few different types of ideas. I could have made it so a new button pops up every time you press the button. However, that would have become very intensive on the actual system itself and would have made the game a massive project and probably would have been loads more time consuming than actually just doing it the way I ended up doing it, which was scoring systems. Now, I've used scoring systems in the past. I used it in the Slip and Slime game that we did for the 12-hour challenge, and I think I also used it back on the Demon's Fate, which was my first ever project I ever tried working on, which unfortunately corrupted. Such a sad project to lose. But the whole idea would be every time you press the button, it would add 1 to your tally. You wouldn't actually see this number, however, in the system, you would I could see that it said 1. Every time that you press the button, it would then run a check for how many you've got, and based on that, it's going to give us a certain prompt based on that. So it would be if score is equal to 15, this plays. If score is equal to 2, this plays. And obviously, every time you press the button, it's adding 1. So once would be your first one, 2, second one, so on and so forth. I think this was the most beneficial way to do this, and also the most easy and least time consuming out of all of them that we could have done. Am I happy with it? Yes. I think it was probably really well made, and obviously tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm happy with it, So that's what we ended up implementing next, and this is how we did it. Yep, that's right, spaghetti code time. So the first thing I did was make the tick script, which was basically just keeping track of the score. We then made a click scoring tracker just off screen on the actual scene itself. And then moving back across into the script here, we made 6 clips. The 6 clips would be the different clips throughout the game that actually play when you click the button and everything like that. Am I not happy with it? Am I happy with it? I personally am proud of this. It's not the most clean script in the world, nor is it going to win any awards anytime soon. But for the time that I spent on it, which was just 10 minutes or so, I mean, we're literally less than an hour into this project, and we're already getting, nice amount of detail in the game, which I'm really happy with, because this is the first project in a while that I've actually enjoyed making. It's a very quick project, and so it's one of those things where I can really just put my mind to it and get going with it. For those interested in how this code works, it's similar to what I explained before with it counts up the score. Every time you press the button, this gets ran, so it adds 1 to our score, and then based on our score, if it's equal to a certain number, it plays that recording and also stops the previous one, so that if it is pressed midway through saying something, the previous recording stops and this one plays. This is the best way I could think to do it, and I'm actually just live here going to check through my code. It does work. I'm recording this while also making the project at the same time. Some of the clips will be recorded after, some of them will before. So if you hear me switching between then and now, that's because the recordings, just like my code, are all over the place. But overall, I wanted to end with me coming up with a funny that would make people laugh while playing the game. So I decided, instead of, once I've actually made the next level, because here's the plan, which I haven't actually explained to you guys yet, is basically you're going to open the game and press the button. And then I'm going to turn around and be like, oh, I actually didn't plan for you to press the button, and I expected you to just log off the game because it looked boring. So let me go make another scene and come back to you once that's made. And then you can sit there pressing the button, and I'll make funny remarks like, can you just learn to have some patience? And then after, I think I'm going to make it a 30-second timer. That button, which is here, is actually going to drop down out of the thing, and you'll be able to press that to go to the next level. Now, to do this, it was a little bit of an extensive little process. Obviously, I have to make sure that all the clips actually work correctly and everything. And then once you have actually pressed the button for the 6th time, it's going to run this. Timer gets run through a different script. It's actually not put in here yet, but it will be later down the line. I'm going to switch the buttons over from this button to another button that will then have the timer script attached to it and run the timer script. Not here. This is just a kind of set thing for now, just to make sure it all works and tests. Next thing I need to do is actually implement all the clips. I'm going to spend some time doing this now, and then I will get straight back to you once that's all done. So I finally got all the clips put into the game, which, God, that was fun recording some more clips. I had to record a couple of extra ones compared to what I was going to do because I miscounted my clip counts. However, it's all done now. This scene's completely complete. I've just made a second scene, which is literally just the exact same scene again, except a little bit less, and it's got a world playable and a world that just kind of flips in. So when you actually get set onto this scene, it just kind of swipes across like so into frame, and then you can just press this button for now. Next, I need to record some more clips that say, well, here's a new scene, yada yada, all the 9 yards and everything like that, and then try and think of an idea of what I could do with this scene. I'm thinking at the moment I'll make this sign go back up and be like, okay, I'll change the scene. This sign go back up, this button get moved into the middle, and then maybe like a tally counter shows up or something, and you just sit there playing with the button for a bit, and then, oh wow, the game's complete, well done, you got 1,000 clicks or whatever, and then we move on to the next part of the game or something like that. And that's the first hour of this entire project complete. For what I've got done in a singular hour, I am quite proud of myself. A lot of scripts were made. Obviously, we got the entire first scene done with the kind of, I guess, first puzzle, you can call it. There's a little joke in there as well with that button thing, and I really enjoy the way it's turned out. Personally, with following what we said about rules for this challenge, I think playability, it's going to be enjoyable to play through. It might be a one-time play type thing, unless maybe people enjoy seeing the same jokes over and over again. Hey, I don't decide people's enjoyment. However, from what I have been able to play through so far, I am quite enjoying making this game as well. It's something different that I don't normally make. I'm normally a 2D platformer with kind of cool little puzzles and parkour sequences and everything like that. So to make something different, which is kind of more of a point and click, UI based game, is quite fun for me to make. Moving into the next hour, I think we're gonna hopefully get the second scene done, maybe another scene on top of that done. However, within this hour, I'm looking at maybe one scene completed realistically. By the end of the game, I want to get at least 5 scenes done and making like a couple more kind of cool little worlds, I guess, because I don't want to just stick with the same screen the entire time. I want it to change and evolve as we go along. And then obviously an ending, which think I've already got the ending for this game planned out. I want it to kind of be like, oh, here's the final button. You press the button, it starts to break away, and then you get a little trophy out of the button or something like that. Just something nice, and just a nice, neat, tidy little ending to finish off this entire game. But yeah, let's get straight on with hour 2 of this entire project, and I will meet back with you once we have some more work done. So next, I finished up working on the previous scene and started working on this scene. For this one, I knew I wanted to do something to do with Freddy's because it's my mate's favorite game genre, and so I was like, we have to add that into this scene as it was his idea in the first place. Honestly, the way it turned out, really happy with it. It's a whole little mini game where Freddy is trying to do his little tune thing, and if you see in the top right there, it goes all dark. You can only see Freddy, and you have to use your mouse to actually look around in the dark. And if you don't do it, if you don't cut the wires that are in the floorboards in time, then you lose. The code behind this, I kid you not, has taken me the last 2 hours to do. It's really simple code. It's just shit tons of it. So definitely a time-consuming one, but it's so worth putting it in there, and I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. Unfortunately, with the way time's going though, it does look like I'm going to have to start working on the ending and then the maybe alternate ending after that. Who knows? However, I'm going to start working on that now, and I will get straight back to you when that is built. So the final scene of the game is complete now. It's kind of just a loop around. Oh, wow, I was a narrator and I was actually a human all the whole time. And you've got to save me. You have to save me by either breaking through the glass and pressing the button, or you can let me go back into the system and it just restarts the game with a little cutscene before it does so. So, 2 endings to the game. I'll show you the 2 endings now. There's the first ending, which is the good ending, where you take me back to my setup and my videos play and yada yada, I go back to working on my games. Or the bad ending, where there's a text pop up if I just unselect all of these. Narrator reset complete, and then it resets the game. Honestly, wasn't much code. It's basically just every second it appears a new text box because I couldn't be asked to do a text system because it's just not enough time to do so. We've got like 30 minutes left of this challenge. and so I don't even really have time to do any more levels, unfortunately. However, for this scene as well, it was just a quick clip play. It doesn't even actually have any code in this scene. It's just a clip play, and then it permanently plays music until you close the game with Alt F4. Yeah, I'm not giving you the luxuries of quitting my games. No, you've got to Alt F4 them. So, if anyone wants to play this game, it will be on itch. I'll release it and put a link in the description for those who do feel like interest in playing it. However, overall, I'm really happy with this game, and I really hope I can make more of them, like in this style in the future. But yeah, as I was saying, I really hope I can make more games like this in the future because it was just something different to my normal style of parkour platforming in 2D. And obviously with the Dark, which I will be bringing an update video out later today, hopefully, on that one. But with the Dark and games like that, I just keep repeating the same thing and I'm getting quite bored of it. Whereas this was something new and it was very story driven, and that's not something I've done in the past. Like it's all my games have just been based on mechanics because code. I'm very code based. So to make something that's more story based and getting the player involved is quite fun, and I really hope I can do more games like this in the future. For the time limit, it was a bit stressful trying to get the ending in there and everything. However, I do love a bit of stress. Like as stupid as it sounds, I do like when I'm under pressure because it makes me work better at my games and gets my games done in a better way than if I just had my own time like the Dark. But without further ado, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please do like and subscribe if you did enjoy. And go check out my course on school, link in the description. Also, go check out The Dark on itch if you haven't already, because it's my biggest game I've got. I mean, who wouldn't want to check it out? On top of that, I'll leave a link to this game in the description as well, and I will see you all in the next video.